Welcome to Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet, the podcast that uses music to inspire us in the struggle against climate change. Songs to warm your soul so you can help cool the world. Hi, I'm co-host Joanna Rush, and I'm so excited to be kicking off this first episode of Cool Tunes for a Hot Planet.
Hello everyone! As Joanna said, I'm Veronica Vevang, and it's great to be here, sharing this podcast with you and presenting you these great musical pieces.
Thank you to Seth Handelman for the beautiful saxophone riffs that started the show. That's from his song, Back to Life. Oh, and what is the show? Well, we're part of Third Act, a nonprofit founded by Bill McKibben for people in the third act of our lives who are fighting against climate change and for our democracy. So the mission of this podcast is to raise awareness and to inspire people to get involved and get active through music.
As I'm sure we all know, a very powerful piece of music can speak right to the heart, and just the same powerful pieces of music have been at the heart of great social movements throughout the decades. For instance, songs like We Shall Overcome and If I Had a Hammer were integral to the emotion of the civil rights movement. Powerful artistic pieces like those are just what we need during this time of fighting climate change and global warming.
Music has always been a huge part of my life. I'm an actor-writer, but I started out as a dancer. When I was 17, I made the Rockettes. And my family threw a big party to celebrate and also to send me off to the big city through the Lincoln Tunnel to Radio City with this warning: stay away from musicians. Back in the day, we did 4 shows a day, 7 days a week, so I really couldn't stay away from musicians, and I can't now. Because musicians, like actors and writers, speak to the soul.
Let's listen to a sea shanty inspired by climate change by James Kahn, with his award-winning music video, By the Rising of the Seas.
Rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas. The temperature is rising, lads, degree by degree. Woe betide us, come the rising sea. Come terrible migrations and a world of refugees, all adrift on the rising sea. The rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising sea. The icebergs all are calving, their cubs drifting on the floes, well away on the rising sea. And the landfalls are a-shrinking down to where nobody knows, sinking low on the rising sea. The rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas. Come hurricanes and river floods and ice storms, know it well, by the rising of the sea. And the furnace burning fuel sounds like the tolling of the bell of the rising sea. And the droughts of withered flowers that are twisting in the breeze, far away from the rising seas. In the wildfires we are losing all the forests for the trees, to the winds of the rising seas. And the birds without direction on the sere and arid plains, water gone to the rising seas. Nor any drop to drink in the pools of dirty acid rain, washing down to the rising sea. The rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas. and the ghosts of all our memories may spill o'er the ocean floor, nethermost to the rising sea. With the shipwrecks of our grand designs and all that came before, drowned away in the rising seas. The rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas. Yet may we mark this vision well, and evermore take heed from the call of the rising seas, and turn around our foundering ship by every word and deed, in the name of the rising seas. The rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas. By the rising of the seas, by the rising of the seas, the day may yet be lost, and the empty world tossed on the rising seas.
The sea shanty video definitely stirred up a lot of emotions within me as I was watching it, like sadness about how our oceans are being damaged and, being impacted by climate change. But at the same time, when I looked back and reflected at the video, I was very inspired by this group of men who came together to create this piece of art about, these issues that the seas are facing. So, yeah, I mean, it's very disheartening, but at the same time, it's important for us to come together in the name of, spreading awareness and also creating great art from depression.
Oh God, I love that sea shanty so much. It really is so powerful. The visual is so powerful, but also hearing all of those horrors that we're dealing with, which we sometimes relate to like one at a time, and it doesn't seem like maybe it's a freak thing, but all together in this beautiful song, it's kind of devastating. It makes me very sad, but it also inspires me to get active.
And now let's hear what James has to say about the song, shall we?
Hi, I'm James Kahn, and I wrote By the Rising of the Seas. It's part of an album of sea shanties about climate change that I wrote. I did it because I love sea shanties and their harmonies, but it also occurred to me that shanties were written and sung by sailors who were confronting their own existential crises, storms and hurricanes and becalmings and bullying captains. And we're going through the same kind of thing on a planet-wide basis now in our little floating vessel of Earth. So it seemed like a real apt musical genre. I was cataloging all these things in the song, but it ended up with a note of hope that if we all pull together like those old sailors, we can turn this thing around. There's a lot of arguing in our society now about, some people think climate change doesn't even exist. They're deniers. They call it a hoax. Some people say it exists, but it's not because of things humans have done. And even on our side, we argue about what to do about it. Whether should we make better batteries, but then that means tearing rare metals out of the earth. Should we have more wind farms, but not in my backyard? And these are all intellectualizations. What music does is get past all these chattering voices in your head and goes right to your heart and moves you, hopefully, to action. And the action that we need to be moved towards right now is to vote, because there are people in this election who will help us battle climate change and others who will try and retard that mission. So I'm hoping that everyone out there will register and get a friend to register and vote and really do something to help in the battle against climate change. So please do that. And plus, I hope you like the harmonies in the song. I loved singing them. Thanks. Bye-bye.
The last line of that shanty, turn around the foundering ship by every word and deed, begs the question, how can we turn around this sinking vessel that is Earth? Well, we vote. We vote for the candidates and the party who will address climate change head on. We don't vote for climate deniers, politicians who will repeal all the climate legislation passed by previous administrations. No, we have to vote for people who will promote clean energy, not carbon fuel. People who don't consider climate change a hoax. We have to push for more protections in the Clean Air Act. We need more clean energy jobs in wind, solar, and storage. And we have to support programs like the Office for Environmental Justice. Our very democracy is on the line in this election. So much depends on our vote.
And on that note, here are a few things that the Democratic Party has done in recent years to help fight climate change. The first being that they've restored the Migratory Bird Treaty Act in order to ban hunters from basically killing the bird species that are integral to the ecosystems within our country. They've also leveraged diplomacy in hopes of reducing fossil fuels, the amount of fossil fuels that we use as Americans. And they've created the American Climate Corps to teach young people, such as myself, in jobs, help them obtain the skills in these jobs that heavily include field work and also scientific work in the fight against climate change.
Carbon energy, drilling, and fracking are technologies of the past. Clean energy is the future of our country.
It's time for our next musical guest, Purly Rae Gates' Western swing tune in Cleaner, Greener, Texas.
Well, holy cow! Our time is now.
In cleaner, greener Texas.
Let's make a change out on the range.
In cleaner, greener Texas.
With EV cars, we're gonna see more stars.
In cleaner, greener Texas.
It's a simple cure for air so pure.
In cleaner, greener Texas. The water's clear, no fracking near. In cleaner, greener Texas. And LNG is history. In cleaner, greener Texas. Now it's a fact. Come join Third Act. In cleaner, greener Texas. We'll get it done while having fun. In cleaner, greener Texas. In cleaner, greener Texas.
Thanks, Purly Rae. It's great, and it's very refreshing to have artists like you who bring back the kind of joy in talking about these issues. Expressing that in new and innovative ways is very inspiring and very exciting because I love being exposed to all different genres of music. So yes, thank you so much.
Activism is the rent I pay for living on the planet. Alice Walker said that. Well, I've been a musical activist since the 60s when Pete Seeger inspired me to sing about important issues. He always believed that the right song at the right moment can change history. And we sure do need to make changes now to minimize the impact of climate change. Not too long ago, there was a challenge issued. It said, using your art form, share your vision of a brighter future. That's why I wrote the lyrics for In Cleaner, Greener, Texas. It's a parody of Deep in the Heart of Texas, a 1942 pop hit. I borrowed the melody, since it's a familiar one, especially here in Texas, and easy for folks to sing along with or clap with. Participation, especially singing together, creates community, and that motivates people to work together and make change happen. 5 years ago, I worked with locals to fight a dirty fracked gas pipeline here in Texas. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I had enough material before long to create a digital EP, which I called Songs for a Fossil Fuel Funeral. Yeah, I do try to get people smiling or laughing, which is also a great way to get your message across.
So let's get out and vote this election. So important to elect people who are trying to solve global warming. Let's show our power. Vote for what we believe in.
Kamala was our first woman of color vice president. As VP, she helped push through climate legislation and funding, which we all know the health of the environment and climate legislation go hand in hand. And also, as a prosecutor, she won cases against the oil companies polluting their surrounding environments.
The climate clock is ticking. It's not only ticking, it is banging. So please register to vote. Get your friends to register and vote to save our blue planet. Oh, and by the way, if you're a college student, you'll need an absentee ballot to vote at school. So there'll be a link at the end of this podcast to help you with that.
It is now time for our featured guest, renowned folk singer Eliza Gilkyson. First, let's watch and listen to the beautiful Promises to Keep.
Thoughts and prayers will never make things right, and I have promises to keep. I've been hoping there'll be some way through, and all our loved ones will be fine. No one knows what it'll come down to, so I'm just looking for a sign. We're on fire, we're on fire, we're on fire now. We're on fire, we're on fire, we're on fire now. I've been counting on my angel choir to put some wings upon my feet. Fill me up with inspiration's fire and get me out into the street. 'cause there's no roadmap gonna tell us where we are. But the fire of love burns deep inside, and I've been crying in the dark of night, with miles to go before I sleep. Thoughts and prayers will never make things right, and I have promises to keep. I have promises to keep.
Hi, Eliza Gilkyson here. I just want to give you a little background on my song Promises to Keep. I wrote it right before the pandemic hit. I was actually out on the road with Richard Thompson. I was in a hotel room, and it was right at the time that Australia was burning. And it was so disturbing, this massive fire that was uncontrollable. It was so related to climate change. It's just very distressing. So the song sort of came out of that angst, and then became more of a, for me, as the video developed as well, the video by Anjay Duvkat, it became this rallying cry in a way for us to, not only was the world on fire, but we were on fire to get out and do something about it.
Thanks, Eliza. We each have promises to keep in various ways, but there are some things that we can do as individuals to help fulfill those promises. Here are some things regular people like Joanna and I are doing to, help the environment and help fight climate change.
Young activists sued Hawaii and won. They said polluting transportation system violated their constitutional rights to a clean environment. So now the state has to fully decarbonize and reach zero emissions. Volunteers in Cleveland turned an illegal dump into a beautiful food garden and farmer's market. A former Texas coal mine was turned into a community garden and feeds 2,000 people a month.
Volunteers for the organization One Tree Planted have recently reached their 100 million trees planted mark since 2014, which is very impressive for only 10 years of work. And of course these trees are helping rebuild ecosystems, and they are doing what trees do and consuming the carbon that we emit out into the environment. And as a bonus, they are creating habitat for various indigenous species. So go One Tree Planted, good for them.
Well, out of time. Thanks for listening, and thank you to James Kahn, Eliza Gilkyson, and Purly Rae Gates.
But for right now, let's end the show with Eliza Gilkyson talking about her masterpiece of a song, Peace in Our Hearts.
Hi, Eliza Gilkyson here again. Just a little word about my song, Peace in Our Hearts. This was written as a real get out in the streets, call and response kind of song. Of course, hit right when the pandemic hit, and we couldn't really go out into the streets at the time. So I made a video for it instead, and employed many of my very dear friends to join me in this song, including the great gospel singer Sam Butler, who now deceased since we made this video, just one of my most favorite singers in the world. So he does a wonderful cameo with his two daughters in this video, real special to me. My son Cisco playing on the drums, and my Austin band. Just some wonderful singers and people joining in, give it that real spirit. So please enjoy Peace in Our Hearts.
Walk together arm in arm with peace.
We're gonna walk with every color and tribe of peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk together with every color and tribe of peace in our hearts. We're gonna walk together every color and tribe, 'cause we know we're stronger when we're on the same side. We know we got peace in our hearts.
We're gonna stand for the earth and her children too, with peace in our hearts. We're gonna stand for the earth and her children too, with peace in our hearts. Gonna stand for the earth and her children too, 'cause it'll take everyone to make this dream come true. We know we got peace in our hearts.
Peace to you all. Thanks for listening. I'm Joanna Rush.
And I'm Veronica Vevang.
See you next time. And here are some links for climate working groups and Get Out the Vote groups. Let's bring it home with some great dirty sax from Seth Handelman.